Okay, so we're back with section 2 and responsive images. So what do we mean by responsive images and responsive websites? That means websites that look the same no matter the screen size and no matter the device used. So when we build websites, we build them with the mobile versions in mind as well. So we make sure that they look good on mobile. How we can check that? You can right click anywhere on the page, go to inspect, and over here next to the selector that we usually use, we have this toggle device toolbar button. So this is a small phone and a tablet next to it, and when we click this shows us what our website would look like on a mobile phone. This is a iPhone SE, but we can have other screen sizes and other screen resolutions as well. Have different examples, and we also have iPads and other tablets, so we can see what our website would look like, and we must make sure that it always looks good on any screen size. And that's this is obviously where Flexbox comes into place, and it helps by making sure that these wrap around the rows correctly and that we can read the whole text and know we don't need to scroll left and right in order to see the page. We just scroll from top to bottom. And then now we're going to move on to doing this to images, where again we're going to use Flexbox, but also a few other special properties to help with this. So if I go back to Sublime Text, in section 2, I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna give it an ID section 2. This is important because we're gonna select it later. And I'm going to create some image tags inside. I'm gonna paste this in, so it's here 5 times. I'm gonna have 5 images. I'm going to go back to Unsplash and select some more pictures. So I'm gonna choose square photos just for the purpose of this tutorial, and I'm just gonna choose 5 pictures. So copy image address, and I'm gonna paste them here. I'm gonna paste them in the src property, and so the source. I'm just gonna copy image address. I'm just gonna do this for 5 images. And I'm going to apply Flexbox to the section. So I have section 2. I'm gonna select it here with hash section 2. I'm basically gonna need the same properties from there, right? Display, I'm gonna need flex. I will want them to wrap, so flex wrap, I want wrap. And I want them to be in the center. So justify content center. Let's see what that looks like now. We have section 1 and we have section 2, and we can see the images, but we can see they are a little bit too big for the screen, and if we have to scroll right to see the whole image, if we scroll up, then we see there's a lot of white space here. So the images are not responsive. They should be shrinking to the size of the screen, right, and not coming out of the page so much, right? So we can see on iPhone SE the pictures are coming out of the screen quite a lot. If we were to give them a set width and height, they'll be doing so. If I select image and I say I want it to have the width of 400 pixels, if I refresh it now, you can see that they're a bit smaller, but they're still coming out a bit of the screen. And because we can see this is 375 pixels, but because we won't ever know what the maximum size or what the size of the screen will be that will view the images on, we can use a different property. And just to show how useful it is to use Google for this, I'm just going to Google how to make images responsive, which I've already Googled. And we have a link from W3 Schools, and if we read through it, they say that you want to scale the image both up and down. You use these. If you want to scale down but never scale up, or if we want it to restrict to a maximum size, which is kind of what we want now. So we want them to never be more than 400 pixels, but also we want them, as the window size shrinks, we want them to shrink as well. So at the moment, for like 400 pixels is enough. We don't want them more than this because it would fill up the space too much. So if we use width, 100% max width, and then height. So if we use this on the image, so instead of width, we use max width, and we say width always 100%, and then the height will be auto. So let's try that. So see, nothing's changed because they're still 400 pixels. If I shrink the screen, they are in the same screen. But now this time, if we go to developer tools and try and see on what it looks like on iPhone SE, you can see that they're actually fitting on the screen, and there's no more white space that we have to scroll around. So the whole page is nicely scrollable from top to bottom. Right? So that's how we do images in CSS. Now if we want them to have some space around them as well, we could give them a margin of 10 pixels and maybe a padding of 10 pixels as well. So like this, we have some padding and we have some space between them when the screen is on a bigger size. Right, so that's how we do images, responsive images as well. I hope that made sense, and hope you always remember it's just these three properties that we need to use. We are just gonna move on to Bootstrap next. So if you feel like having another short break, go for it, and yep, see you back for Bootstrap in a bit.